LV here with a different kind of video for you today, kind of a learning pre-sub video. I was prepping cards to send into PSA for their current $17.99 per card monthly special, the years 1960 to 1989, and I figured I might as well make a video out of it. I think it might be pretty boring for some, but might be helpful for others. Of all the eras, 1980s cards are the most fun for me to grade. I love the condition challenges, and I have so much nostalgia growing up collecting those sets, and I absolutely love the players from that decade. You got Bonds, Gwynn, Ripken, McGuire, Nolan Ryan, Maddox, Bo Jackson. Basketball, you have Jordan, Olajuwon, Ewing, Drexler, Barkley, Bird, Magic, and football, Marino, Elway, Montana, Walter Payton, Jerry Rice. Just incredible. But this special could also be deadly. It could also be a money pit because PSA is currently grading these vintage era cards very tough. So when picking which cards to send in, you need to be extra careful. As people say, work smarter, not harder. And as much as I want to send in my favorite players and sets and don't worry about the value of the cards, at this current stage in my life, doing this as my full-time living, I have to send in financially responsible, sound cards, cost-effective cards. And I've stressed this for almost 3 years on my channel. You need to check the comps of each potential card in the grade range you think the card will receive. If you think the card would grade a PSA 9, then go ahead and check the comps for 8 and a 9 and a 10. Consider the cost you have into the card and the grading fee, and ideally those numbers added together should be less than the current comp of, I'd say, 1 grade lower than the grade you hope to get. I spent this past week sifting through my countless boxes of gradable cards, pulling out the 1960 to the 1989 cards that I feel might be a smart grading candidate. I look them over again and make a pre-grade assessment number, then check the comps to see which are responsible to send in. So in this video, I'll go over the comp numbers of the cards I'll officially be sending in, plus I'll go over some of the cards that didn't make the cut. Keep in mind, probably 97 to 99% of these cards I'm sending in were originally purchased by me 10 to 20 years ago in collections, and they were mainly kind of peripheral cards. So at this point, I'm really not invested any money into them. So the majority of these, when calculating, I'm only deducting the grading fee and maybe a little bit of eBay sales fee. So ideally, the comps of these cards need to sell for over 18 to 20 bucks to make grading worthwhile. Also, hopefully, watching my process will let you know and get a feel for what types of players I like to send in, meaning I like sending in fan favorites, rookie cards, second-year cards, Hall of Famers, the GOATs, worldwide recognizable names, or cards with that are iconic in pop culture. They just sell quicker. There's just no denying that. All right, let's just start with the cards I'll be sending in to PSA. I whittled it down to 80 total cards, and you've heard me say this before, I am not going to send all 80 in one order because I've been burned too many times over the years by PSA. I'm going to split it up into 2 separate orders, 40 cards per, just in case I get that bad grade or that bad order. All right, let's just start with the cards I'll be sending in, and wish me luck on this submission. Looks like we're starting off with a 1989 Score Supplemental Sterling Sharp rookie card. Now, I'm lucky. In the past, I was lucky. Probably about 10, 15 years ago, I bought 2 cases of these Score Supplemental 89s, and in each case, there's 40 sets. And I bought both for $100, so just over $1 a set. And if you know this set, there's some valuable cards. You got the Bo Jackson everyone loves. He's in the football shoulder pads holding the bat. Nowadays, it sells for around $380, $400 in a PSA 10. I've graded all those out. I've probably accounted for 30 Gem 10s in the Pop Report. But 2 of the players, Sterling Sharp and Eric Allen, actually got inducted, made the Hall of Fame 2025 class. So their cards saw a spike, and they were borderline to make the Hall. So I noticed not every player has a value spike when they make the Hall of Fame. But the borderline players, they do see that spike. But say a Tom Brady or a Drew Brees, someone that you know for sure are going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, they're going to make it. So everyone's gearing up to sell their cards, and it just floods the market. And if anything, the value actually goes down a little bit on those players like Tom Brady. But these borderline ones, they go up. So the Sterling Sharp in a 10 sells for $175 right now, and in a 9 sells for $30. I have 4 clean copies. I have good chances at 10. Worst case, it gets a 9. I'm still making a little bit of money. Same with Eric Allen. Sells for around $90 in a 10 and about $30 in a 9. So making money, worst case. Troy Aikman. So $75 in a 10 and around $15 in a 9. I know 15 is a little less than that 18-20 I need to be at, but I like that spread. 75 is a decent value. It's worth the risk. And it's Troy Aikman. His stuff sells pretty well. Rookie card, Hall of Famer, and a Dallas Cowboy, which they get a little more hobby market love. So there you go on that. This one's a borderline card, but it's just too clean not to send in. The 89 Marino sells for around $60 in a 10 and a 15 in a 9. And then you got some Bo Jackson. Bo stuff sells so well. So this is 88, his football rookie year, but it's the Raiders team. And believe it or not, these sell pretty well. Sells for around $65.70 in a 10 and 15 in a 9. I got 2 very clean copies. This card I'm very happy I found sifting through my boxes. So this is also an 88 Bo Jackson. It's the box bottoms. These are on the bottom of the boxes, and a lot of times they got thrown away or damaged, creased, indented. But I am incredibly impressed. Not one indent, a little bit of surface wear right through here, but overall centered, not bad at all. I'm hoping for a 6 or a 7. And believe it or not, in a 6, they sell for around $100, and even in a 7, even in a 5, they sell for around $60. So I'm gonna make good money there, hopefully. The 88 Rice sells for about $65 in a 10 and 15 in a 9. The 87, this is a second-year card for Reggie White. Sells for around $75 in a 10 and 20 in a 9. Look how clean that is. It's perfectly centered. The Jim Kelly, you'll be shocked. It actually sells for $450 in a 10 and 40 in a 9. This won't get a 10, I know. It's off-center left to right, but really clean and sharp. My hope is just a 9. Worst case, an 8 sells for 15. Randall Cunningham's one of the most condition-sensitive cards in the set. There's always printing defects all around. This one actually is pretty good, just off-center top to bottom, but no printing defects, which I like. A whopping $820 for a PSA 10. A 9 goes for around $45. Worst case, an 8 goes for 15. So I'm a fan grading that card. Walter Payton, 87. In a 10, sells for $235. In a 9, $30. And an 8, $15. This one has a shot. Outside shot at 10, so it's worth the gamble. This card I actually picked up recently for around $35, $36, so I'll account for that. The 86 Topps sells for around $80 in a 6. No, $80 in a 7 and $55 in a 6. So still worth grading. I put it somewhere in between a 6 and a 7. The Warren Moon actually sells for $400 in a 10. This is a second-year card for Warren Moon. 85 was his rookie. Around $40 in a 9, and it's clean. It has a 10 potential. The 84 Montana sells for around $40 in a 9, $15 in an 8. I wish it could get a 10, but I see a fisheye right here. Sharp. Who knows? The Jimbo Covert, he is a Hall of Famer. This is his rookie card out of 84 Topps. Believe it or not, sells for $500 in a Gem 10, $35 in a 9, and $15 in an 8. Worth the risk, worth the gamble. Hopefully one of those will gem. That one doesn't look like it can get more than a 9, so hopefully they can sneak that one in as a 10. The Dan Marino, this is his rookie year, 84. It is with Steve Bart. They actually only sell for $130, $140 in a 10 and $25 in a 9. It looks like a potential 10 to me, so I'm excited to see that one. Jack Lambert, around $155 in a 10 and $30 in a 9. This one looks more like a 9 to me, but really clean, Nice surface, everything. Howie Long, rookie card for him. This 84 set. This is why it's my absolute favorite set from the 80s for football. It's just littered with Hall of Fame rookies. You got Darrell Green, Andre Tippett, Howie Long, Eric Dickerson, John Elway, Dan Marino. It's just Jackie Slater. It's incredible. So anyway, this Howie Long, it looks more like an 8 to me, but potential 9. In a 9, it sells for 60, and an 8 around 25. The Dickerson, again, looks more like an 8 to me. Outside shot at a 9. It is sharp. It's just a little off-centered. In an 8, it's around 25. In a 9, it's around 75. And, a 7 is around 15. So, still okay there. The Art Monk, I need a 10. And I think it's there. Look at that centering. It's beautiful. His rookie year was 81. But a 10 and an 84 top sells for 120 and a 9 around 15. The Morton Anderson I shouldn't send in, but I really want to kind of test this. I talk about it a little bit at the end of the video, but the diamond cut, tilt cut a little bit. I warn people for sending them in, but I'm going to go ahead and test one. The top is just perfect, and this left side is thinner, and then the right side's a little thicker. So, but really sharp, clean, and this card's pretty condition sensitive. It's his rookie card, and he's a Hall of Famer. Not often if you're a kicker and make the Hall of Fame. So, it sells for around 40 and a 9 and 15 and an 8, so worst case. Lawrence Taylor, rookie, 82 tops. Again, I bought this one actually recently on eBay. It's pretty clean. I would say it sells for around $100 in an 8 and $35 in a 7. So off-center, but it has a chance at an 8. It's really clean. Worst case 7, still probably break even. Chris Collinsworth, kind of a broadcaster. This is his rookie card at 82 tops. And it sells for 150 in a 10 and 40 in a 9. Then you got some Walter Payton in action. Sells for around 200 in a 10, 60 in a 9, and 20 in an 8. Got Tony Dorsett, 200 in a 10 and 30 in a 9. This is 82 tops. Looks like we got some 78s. This is an Art Shell. Hall of Famer. Sells for around 400 in a 10, 40 in a 9, and 15 in an 8. It's got a shot, let me tell you. Lynn Dickey, this one, I had to. It's just flawless. It looks like a 10 to me. 10 sell for around 100, and 9's around 25. You got Bob Gracie, Hall of Famer, 200 in a 10, 60 in a 9, 15 in an 8. It's got a chance, a little off left or right. Pat Fisher, I think he is part of the Redskins Commanders Ring of Fame. In a 9, it's around 60, and an 8 around 25. It has a shot at a 9. It's really clean. Kind of a fan favorite there. And then you can get into some basketball. We got Jordan. I still have like 20 of these copies, but over the years I've graded off the good ones. But there's still a few left that have potential at a 10. This card in a 10 goes for around 160, 170, and a 9 around 25, 30. So they got a shot. There's 2 of them that look pretty clean. And then we have a whole bunch of all-stars that look pretty nice that have 10 shots as well. These sell for a little less at $100 in a 10 and around 20 in a 9. Still worth it. Jordan stuff sells so well and quick. Rick Smits. I was only going to send in 1, but I had 3 copies that look just incredible. And believe it or not, in a 10, they sell for around 125, 130, and in a 9, around 15. So I think it's worth, the spread is worth the gamble there, the ceiling. These stickers, man, from 86 to all the way 89, all the Fleer stickers are so incredibly condition sensitive. But 88's the worst. 89 here, Olajuwon. This one has a 10 chance. Look at that centering. They're always off-centered, and they always have chipping, white showing on the back, but look at that. It's a beauty. In a 9, it's around 30 or 35, but I'd say in a 10, it would push anywhere from 300 to 500. You just never know. This one I actually picked up on eBay recently. I couldn't believe it. So this Reggie Miller rookie from 88 is always off-center, top to bottom, I swear. But I saw it, and I had to pick it up, because look how centered it is. It's like 50-50. And it came incredibly clean. Incredibly clean. There's only one little tiny fisheye right there, and that's it. It's, you know, most likely 9, right? But a 9 sell for $100. I think I bought this for around 14, 15 bucks. And guess what a 10 sells for? $2,000. So wish me luck. Ignore that fisheye grader. We got a Olajuwon sticker. Yes, Little Victories is way, way off-centered. But what you know what I'm shooting for? A Mint 9 OC off-centered. My dog wants in. After this Olajuwon, doggy. So I think it could get there. Worst case, maybe an 8 OC. Oh, this is brutal. So I would put a 9 OC at around 100 and then maybe an 8 OC at around 40. Next up, we have a 79 Calvin Murphy. This one just looks gem. And if anyone knows anything about these 79s, there's print defects always, and they're snowing always, and they're always off-centered. So this one's incredible. In a 10, I'd put it anywhere from 100 to 150. In a 9, maybe about 15. But worth the risk. Alex English is actually his rookie card. It's a Hall of Famer. PSA 8 at around 55 and a 7 around 15. It looks like a potential 8 to me, but most likely it's, I don't know, it's close. It's really clean. I'm hoping for an 8. We got an 89, you know, junk wax era, I know. But it's Nolan Ryan. His stuff sells really well and quick. So in a 10, this 89 Bowman sells for around 55 and a 9 around 15. This is a popular card, kind of iconic card. So Nolan Ryan throwing the football sells for around 145 in a 10 and around 30 in a 9. So hopefully one of those will hit a 10. The other iconic card from the Upper Deck Nolan Ryan is this card. I loved it growing up. This one sells for or a little bit less, around 105 in a 10 and 15 in a 9. And then I picked up some Griffies on eBay recently for around 50 bucks each. They look like 7s and 8s to me. I'm hoping this one hits an 8 and that one at least a 7. Still should at least make a little bit, break even. Grading them, I'd say they sell for around 95 in an 8 and around 70 in a 7. This card, oh man, I got some stories to tell about this card. So this is the common, everyone knows about the Billy Ripken FF Air on the knob. So this is the common one where they just a whole black box out. But back in the day, I bought a whole factory sealed case, so about 12 sets. And in those sets, in the case, 3 of the sets contained the whiteout, the most valuable, the blurred whiteout version. And believe it or not, I graded all 3. One got a 10, one got a 9, and one got an 8. And this is the sad part. I'm still bummed about it. I needed money back then. Oh man, I don't know when I sold it. It must have been like 2009 or something. We were in that little mini recession. It was bad. Anyway, I sold it for $350 in a PSA 10. And now, I don't know. I want to know. I bet it's 10 grand. Maybe 5. I don't know. 5 to 10 grand. Either way, sad story here. But this card I thought was worthless. I probably have hundreds of them stashed somewhere. But it currently sells for $95 in a 10 and 20 in a 9. There you go. I'm excited about these Bo Jacksons. Iconic card. They look like 10s to me, and they sell for around $210 in a 10 and 25 in a 9. The Nolan Ryans look clean. They sell for around 85 in a 10 and 20 in a 9. The Bo Jackson opening day, these are tough. $350 in a 10 and 25 in a 9. It has a 10 chance. I like this card. The font is very 80s. I mean, it is an 80s card. You got Dave Winfield and Don Mattingly. It looks like a 10. I'm excited. $90 in a 10 and around 25 in a 9. The Tony Gwynn, again, tilt diamond cut. I'm a little worried, but this card sells pretty well. It's around $230 in a 10 and around $35 in a 9. The Puckett rookie sells for around $40 in a 9 and $20 in a 8. This looks in between a 9 and an 8 to me. We'll see. Puckett stuff sells well. I'm not too worried about that. We got a Ricky Henderson 84 Fleer. Sells for 85 in a 10 and 20 in a 9. The 83 Topps Nolan Ryan. These are pretty condition sensitive too. I'm just going for a 9. They sell for around 35, 40 and 8 around 15. Outside chance at 10, but very outside. The Jackie Robinson is kind of a cool card. You don't see. He doesn't have many cards in the 80s. So 60 bucks in a 10 and 25 in a 9 is the Hall of Fame heroes. You got Nolan Ryan, 83 Donruss. They sell for around 130 in a 10 and around 20 in a 9. You got an 82 Ozzie Smith, 55-60 in a 10, around 15 in a 9. Couple, I bought 50 to 80 vending fresh Pete Rose in a lot on eBay a long, long time ago. These are the nicest too. They're pretty condition sensitive. About 400 in a 10, 35 in a 9, and 15 in an 8. It could be an 8, 9, or 10, to be honest, on those ones. We got an 82 Donruss George Brett. They sell for around 50, 55 in a 10, around 20 in a 9. And this card actually sells really well. These 81 tops are very condition sensitive too, and it's pretty centered up. And it's the second-year card for Ricky Henderson. Sells for $100 in just a 9. I can't imagine a 10. I don't even know. An 8 sells for around 20. So I'm hoping for a 9 there. The Dennis Martinez Denny. He was a really good pitcher. I bet he has 250 career wins. This card just looks perfect. I had to do it. I bet in her 10, not too much, maybe around 60 buck card, maybe 15 in her 9, but still worth it. Then we got a 78 Ryan, around 45 bucks in a 7, and around 20 in a 6. So, and it has an 8 potential, actually. It's just off-center top to bottom, so I don't know. Seems worth it. And then Thurman Munson, he has so much hobby love. His cards sell for good value. In a 9, this is 90 bucks, and an 8, around 30. This has a shot. So there you go on those. Wish me luck. Let's go over a few that just quickly didn't make the cut, just so you know where my mind was at and kind of the threshold, the ceiling, and the floor. You got a Brett Hull, Peachy, 89. They look like 10s to me, but a 10s only sell for around 40, 45, and a 9 around 15. Just not quite there. The Jose Canseco, they're really clean. These are so condition sensitive, but in a 9, which I think was what they would get, no higher, is it's only 20 bucks. So definitely not worth it. And this is just kind of a trap card. So it used to be really valuable, but now in a 10, it's about 50 bucks. And in a 9, it's only around 12 bucks. And these are tough to grade because some graders hammer. They almost all have them on these dark borders, these little bit of white on the edges, so it's too risky. This Tony Gwynn I picked up on eBay recently. It looked really clean. I think I picked it up for around 17. Just a little too much invested. Even though an 8 would go for around 40 and a 7 maybe around 20. You know, it's got a little snowing, a little print defect there. What if it gets a 7? Then I'm just out that much. So not quite worth it. This is a good candidate for an SGC special. Like if they run like a $12 80s special, yeah, I'm sending that in for sure. Like an 87 Donruss Bonds, they look really clean. They look like 10s, but then they have these little minor fish eyes, you know, hidden around. There's one right there, and then you got one probably right there. See it? So I think at max it'd be a 9, and a 9 sells for around 20 bucks. So just not worth it. 78 Pete Rose, really nice card, but see this edge? It's got a little bit of a rough cut. It's sharp, but I'd say an 8 at most, and an 8 sells for around 22, so just not worth it. And these Walter Paytons are so condition sensitive, and they're clean, but they're always off-centered. You know, I would love to know I could maybe get an 8 or a 9 on some of these, but this off-centered, they might get 7s, and 7s go for around 15, and 8s around 35, so just not quite worth the risk. Believe it or not, there's 4 clean Dan Marinos, but these only sell for $35 in a Gem 10. That's it. Dang, only 10 and a 9, so definitely not worth it. If best case you can get is only 35. And the Brian Bosworth, this is a fan favorite card, kind of an iconic card. I actually think it was in made an appearance in a movie. What was that one with Dax Shepard? Without a Paddle. I think that's that. 30 bucks and a 9 and 15 and an 8, and they just look like 8s and 9s to me. Nate Thurman, an old vintage card from 71 Tops, a Hall of Famer. It looked like an 8. And I was thinking, oh, I bet an 8 goes for $35.40. No, it only goes for $25 for an 8 and 15 and a 7. Reggie Miller, 89, second-year card. It's down to only 50 bucks in a Gem 10, 15 and a 9. So just not quite worth it there. All right, so while making this video and going through all the comps and making sure I chose the most cost-effective cards for submission, I definitely saw patterns forming. I feel like the floor needed to be at least $15, and the ceiling needed to be at least over $60 to make grading at the $18 to $20 card level worth it. Next, I think you are truly able to see just how much value and demand there are for the GOATs and the popular athletes in the hobby, like the Michael Jordans and the Bo Jacksons and the Barry Bonds and the Ricky Henderson, Walter Payton, Nolan Ryan. Seeking out the clean copies of those players is just never a bad idea. Next, when dealing with 80s cards, fight the urge, and I didn't fight the urge completely. Fight the urge to submit those slightly diamond cut, I call it a tilt cut, cards like these. I really want to send them in. They're so clean, they're sharp. But fight that urge. I mean, look at that. The top part's perfect, but then you get to the bottom, it's thicker and then thinner. Yeesh. Same with the Raymond Floyd rookie. I wanted to grade some of those. And then the Darryl Green's always diamond cut. Look at that. Up top it looks good. Then the bottom's bad. And even these 89 Nolans, look at that. Thinner there, thicker there, diamond cut. The Fernando, rest in peace, looked amazing. Sharp, just thicker there, thinner there. It's just, you gotta really watch out. So do your best to resist submitting those no matter how sharp the corners are. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video, and you should see the grading results. There they are, after I split them up. In my future reveals, probably 6 months from now at the pace PSA is grading right now. But I'm excited to share those with you eventually. And I wish everyone fair and great submissions, and I hope everyone has a great day.